In the previous study, I ended with the following passages. I call heaven and earth as witnesses today against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both you and your descendants may live. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up at the last day. When we compare the first passage with the second, there seems to be a contradiction. In Deuteronomy, we're told to choose life, yet Christ, who is our life, says that no one can come to him unless the Father draws them. The first suggests free will, but the second doesn't. This brings a very interesting point to the table, which we touched on in the previous study. Slavery. We shall know the truth, and the truth will make us free. Free means to liberate, taken from the root meaning not a slave. Gemini tells us the term slave refers to a person who is the legal property of another and is forced to obey them. While the core definition centers on ownership and lack of freedom, the term is applied in several different contexts. The word is sometimes used metaphorically to describe a person who is completely dominated by an influence, habit, or emotion. Now, back to Hagar. We're told in Galatians 4 that she is a slave woman, speaking literally. A few verses later we read, which things are symbolic, for these are the two covenants, the one from Mount Sinai, which gives birth to bondage, which is Hagar. Our word bondage is the Greek transliteration douleia, defined by Strong's as slavery. The root of this word is doulo, meaning to be a slave to, literal or figurative, involuntary or voluntary. From here, we can take a step over to the following words of Christ. A disciple is not above his teacher, nor a servant above his master. Here, our word servant is doulos, which Strong's defines as a slave, literal or figurative, involuntary or voluntary. The root of this word is dio, defined as to bind, literal or figurative. As we see, this family of words, including the translation bondage, suggests slavery through and through. And my point? Well, all of us are slaves in one form or fashion. What do I mean by this? Please consider the following. Do you not know that to whom you present yourselves slaves to obey, you are that one slaves whom you obey, whether of sin leading to death or of obedience leading to righteousness? But God be thanked that though you were slaves of sin, yet you obeyed from the heart that form of doctrine to which you were delivered. And having been set free from sin, you became slaves of righteousness. I speak in human terms because of the weakness of your flesh. For just as you presented your members as slaves of uncleanness and of lawlessness leading to more lawlessness, so now present your members as slaves of righteousness for holiness. No guesswork here, right? Paul uses the term slaves 6 times. Slaves to what exactly? Not so much to people, but to sin or obedience. The first leading to death, the second to righteousness. Several things come to light here. First, note that Paul says, yet you obeyed from the heart that form of doctrine to which you were delivered. The ESV renders this, have become obedient from the heart to the standard of teaching to which you were committed. This tells us that first and foremost, this is an inward matter where the heart, and not just the head, participates. That said, we see that our slavery is based on love, on where we place our affection. John says, do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. We can't love the world or the things in it. That seems a bit harsh, doesn't it? Well, not in light of what Jesus says here. Now no one can be slaving for two lords, for either he will be hating the one and loving the other, or will be upholding one and despising the other. You cannot be slaving for God and Mammon. Strong's defines Mammon as, of all things, confidence. That is, figurative wealth personified. That is, avarice deified. Here we are, my friend. Mammon is wealth, but not just wealth, but wealth or avarice deified, made God in our lives. No wonder Paul says that the love of money is the root of all evil. Did you catch that? Paul said all evil. He also said the love of money, not money itself. Love is the key word here. Now, let me back up. What's the first word Strong's uses to define Mammon? Confidence. What in the world does this have to do with wealth personified? Well, take a moment and think about it. Is it not reasonable to view the accumulation of wealth as a catalyst that can transform healthy self-assurance into excessive pride or hubris? Gemini tells us that the word mammon is of Aramaic origin, likely derived from the root relating to steadfastness, truth, or that which is trusted. So when Strong's uses the word confidence, it highlights that mammon isn't just the currency itself. It is the placement of trust in that currency, providing a tangible sense of security. When that security is used to replace spiritual or communal reliance, the confidence shifts from an internal state to an external dependency. In classical and biblical thought, pride often stems from a delusion of self-sufficiency. Wealth facilitates this delusion in a few ways. First, it creates a buffer between a person and the common struggles of humanity, leading to the belief that one is above the standard rules or needs of others. As wealth accumulates, the need to ask for help or rely on a higher power diminishes. This excessive confidence in one's own resources is the literal definition of pride in many theological contexts. In the context of Matthew 6:24, the personification of Mammon suggests a rival deity. By treating wealth as a personified entity, the text implies it has its own will or influence over the human ego. If mammon is wealth personified, then the confidence it offers is a counterfeit of faith. While faith is confidence in the unseen, pride is an inflated confidence in the seen. That is, things such as assets, status, and power. In a word, love of money is the transition from utilitarian wealth, or money as a tool, to idolatrous wealth, money as a source of identity. When confidence is rooted in something you own rather than who you are, it almost inevitably swells into pride as the pile grows, because the ego begins to claim credit for the security that the wealth provides. Bottom line, the love of money is the fruit of the love of self. That's why, down deep inside, we're often bothered by the, quote, rich in society, and this despite the fact that we wish for the same thing. No doubt about it, wealth changes everyone, and if we've never had it, we simply do not understand just how much it can change us. My take, if you seek first the kingdom of God, you will not pursue wealth. But if by chance you gain it, then you'll want to, give it away. Am I saying that God's people should all be poor? I'm not saying that at all. Rather, I'm talking about a sincere mindset based on the heart of sacrifice. Now, with all this said, what is the real point here? Free will. Most of us think we operate from such, and within a limited construct, we do. After all, you made the choice between eggs and toast or a bagel this morning, right? But I'm not talking about these inconsequential choices. Rather, I'm talking about the metaphoric definition of slavery, where our decisions are based on the influence, habits, and emotions of others. What do I mean by this? Collective conditioning. In regard to the scribes, Pharisees, and Sadducees, Jesus referred to this collective conditioning as tradition. Is there something wrong with tradition? No, not until it does what Jesus says and causes us to transgress the commandment of God and make it of no effect. And the greatest proponent of tradition? It's pride, and most do not realize that it prevents us from having a free will. Let me stop here and pick up from here in the next study.